Esports in the near future? Will you be adding legendary players like Kobe, Michael Jordan, and Shaq? Wow, I did not expect that answer. This is part 2 of the Devs Q&A recap, and we'll be covering the remaining questions from part 1. And in this video, we'll cover the questions about the players and decks, in-game features, and other NBA Infinite questions. Let's get started. Question 1. When can we expect to see new players and retired players? Answer. Our March update will feature new star players, including Wembanyama. Retired players are also being progressively developed, ensuring that players will definitely get to experience retired athletes this year. The next question is very close to it, and they ask, will you be adding legendary players like Kobe, Michael Jordan, and Shaq? Answer. We have an ongoing plan for introducing new star players, including new epic, legendary, and retired historical stars, all of which are currently in development. Our research and development team is busy creating and fine-tuning a new batch of stars, and we believe it won't be long before we can bring everyone a new experience. In the future, we'll create a lot of content centered around these stars, including the history of players you mentioned. Wow, so all the big names you know that are not in the game, you should expect them coming in sometime soon. Not all at once, but slow and steady. Will there be special versions of a player that already exist in the game, like MVP? Answer. In the future, there are plans to launch cards featuring the peak years of NBA stars and legendary cards of retired players. Please stay tuned. I personally don't have deep knowledge of all the NBA players, but if you know, leave them in the comments. Who do you think they're referring to with the peak years of NBA stars? I was thinking about what they could mean by peak years of NBA stars, because they separate that from legendary cards of retired players. My guess is that they have a list of players whose careers were cut short. I can only think of Yao Ming and maybe Andrew Bynum. I remember them being amazing basketball players, so if I'm wrong, let me know. But if there's anything that you predict that they could be bringing in that are not legendary, let me know in the comments and I'll check them out. Number 3, will cards like 06 Curry have the capability to merge with current cards for special quality upgrades? Answer. Currently, there's no such plan. Each player is unique. So if you didn't know, there's different versions of the same player, like their rookie year cards and like when they were in their prime. So it gets a little confusing when you see two of the same player on the same court, which happens in the game. But just know that there's different versions of that same player. When the question says 06 Curry, I did a quick Google search and then 06 Curry was at Davidson. So I'm not sure if he's even playing the right game. Merging cards, I don't know if that's a hot topic within the NBA 2K or NBA Live communities, but it sounds interesting. You can get special quality upgrades. When I think about it, it is interesting. What if you do merge cards like that? Question 4, are you planning on rebalancing the stats? Answer, we have been closely monitoring the performance of various star players within the game and have recently made some balance adjustments. This is an ongoing effort as we aim, they're just always working on balancing. Minor tweaks here and there. Every game does that. Question 5. Would you guys add team up chats and trading chats in the game? Answer. Team chat is available, but currently we prefer not to enable peer-to-peer trading among players to avoid potential disagreements and issues. Trading cards between accounts sounds fun, but I think that avoids that huge mess of when accounts gets hacked and someone just transfers all the cards off that account. And to avoid things like that, like scamming and all that, I think they're just going to focus on the player market, which acts like a trading middleman between random accounts. It keeps it safe. Question 6. How are players... this is my question I submitted. I'm very proud of this question because I think getting to know how they think of coming up with features lets you into the mind of how you see them develop the game. So my question is, how are player exclusive / dominant skills decided on each player? What are some of the challenges and opportunities of coming up with exclusive dominant skills that we might not be aware of? Someone put a nerdy glasses emoji. It is what it is. I'm a proud nerd. So I took some time to think about this question and they took some time to write it. So I'm going to say it all. Answer. We are delighted to share our thoughts on player design. NBA players possess unique technical characteristics and offensive preferences. For instance, Curry excels in three-point shooting, Harden's step back is a nightmare for opponents, and Durant showcases precise shooting with a trailing step. To emphasize these traits in the game, we reference the player's characteristics and performance data to determine their exclusive skills, granting them special moves to enhance their abilities and effects in specific situations. Regarding the concept for dominance skills, inspiration is drawn from many classic moments in the NBA, such as Miller's 8.9 seconds scoring 8 points and McGrady's 35 seconds scoring 13 points. These irrational plays evoke intense emotions, so we want players to experience similar moments in the game. Therefore, considering game balance would temporarily and significantly enhance a player's abilities within a limited number of uses and duration. This is intended to help turn the tides in crucial moments of a match. Finally, in the game's practice mode, we provide operational practice for exclusive skills. We hope players can master them and surprise opponents during matches. Awesome answer. I'm glad that they got to expand on how and why they added exclusive and dominant skill, because if you don't know, each player in the game has their own special abilities. And I like that they added a little twist to the game where certain players can basically turn on their ultimate. That's how I kind of it. They turn on their special ability. I think 30 seconds or 45 seconds of the whole 3-minute match. And basically changes the tide. I agree. And I noticed that a lot of the games that we somehow win when we're losing in the beginning happens in the last 30 seconds. And I looked at his stats and I saw his dominance skill, and it's actually something that makes sense. He has a dominance called closing time, and it's basically Lillard's, and basically his field goal increases in the last 6 seconds of the shot clock and also the last 30 seconds of the game. And if his team is losing or the score is tied, his field goal increases even more. So that explains why all his buckets seem to just magically fall in, even under some contestant. It's crazy because he just lobs these threes in the final seconds and we end up winning. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy to see that. I'm very happy to see that there's these things that can just literally help you win if you're in a losing battle. But he doesn't always win, so sometimes he misses. So it's a good balance. I like it. And I'm pretty sure Miller will be joining in the future, and McGrady. Fun fact: Miller was my inspiration when I played basketball in middle school. I shot so many threes. My classmates called me the 3-point wizard, because of all the threes I would shoot, and some of them I'll make. So he was like my version of Steph Curry when I was little. Question 7. I've been waiting for my Anthony Davis for a week and there's still none coming to me. I also have 4 AD in my pre-order list simultaneously and still no luck on my side. And what is the basis for pre-order? Is it the earliest to pre-order or the latest to pre-order? Answer. When a player is not listed for sale by any seller in the market, you can place a pre-order for them. Pre-ordering requires deducting the pre-agreed price from your golds. If the pre-order is successful, you'll be refunded or charged the difference on the actual transaction price. If the pre-order fails, the pre-order golds will be refunded. Parentheses, the quantity and price of pre-order orders will also affect the value of the pre-ordered player. If multiple orders are placed at the same price, they will be processed in the order they were made. If the prices differ, priority will be given to the order with the higher price. So this makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. I kind of predicted that it would be like this. I said it weeks ago without really fully getting the facts, but I banked on it and I was correct. So basically, if there's no cards on the market, people place pre-orders for it. And as soon as the first card goes on the market, basically the highest bidder gets that price. And if that one card is for sale and there's a lot of pre-orders on it, basically the highest bidder gets that price. And if there's multiple pre-orders at that same exact price for that one card, it'll be first come first serve for that card. My question is if a seller wants to sell a card, let's say at 2 million, and the highest bidder for that card puts their pre-order at 2.5 million, where does the $500,000 go? I don't know if the seller sees all the pre-order prices. I haven't sold a card that was not available in the market yet, so I don't know. So if you sold a card that's not on the So this is the last section. We'll cover the gameplay fee and the other questions that didn't fit within the gameplay mechanics and the player cards. Here's the remaining questions. I also have a quick list of all the stuff that they said that they will consider or maybe think about it down the road. And that list of maybes will be towards the end after this section 3, where we're going to cover all the in-game feature questions. Question 1. Do you plan on bringing 2v2, 1v1, 3-point contest ranked? Answer. We are considering adding 2v2 and 1v1 rank and 3-point contest ranked gameplay. Holy smokes. But we will continue to observe the possibility of other rank modes. Having too many ranking systems may disperse everyone's attention and bring more ranking pressure to players. Wow. I did not expect that answer. If the player base is big enough, yeah, they can add it, but I don't think it's that big enough because in part 1, they were concerned about mobile support splitting the player base and having 2 separate lobbies. So I think they're not at that point where they can bring rank and basically pull other players outside of the current rank dynasty and 3v3 and move them into other modes, which will increase queue times. But 2v2 sounds a lot of fun, but they already have unranked 1v1s. Maybe they can do a special timed events on a weekend or something just to like test it out. So who knows? Next question. Could you guys add 5v5 team up mode? Answer. We have considered the situation. Our technical capabilities is not an issue, but we are concerned about the player's experience. Most of the time players are running after the player with the ball, which might damage the game experience. People run after the ball every low ranked game. I see double teams all the time. when it's not necessary. 5-5s, I can only imagine what 5-5s will look like. It just sounds like a mess. Basically, they can do it, but they don't want to do it. Next question. How would you guys consider making it best of 21 or 15 in 3v3 ranked instead of 3 minutes to avoid players running around the court when there's less than 24 seconds left to secure the win? Answer, not in consideration for now. I'm guilty of running around in the last 24 seconds. I think it's best to run around if you're in it, but you should only run around if you're ahead by 4 though. I've been guilty of doing it a lot to secure the wins, bro. These wins are, you lose one game, you basically wiped out like 5 ranked games wins. So it ain't worth it. Next question. Esports in the near future? Answer, we are planning to host a college tournament in the future. Stay tuned. Ooh la la. That sounds like a blast, and college starts around the fall time, so it's like 6 months away. Maybe that's around the time when they'll start gearing up for that. Question, do you plan on having a character cap? For example, only having a max of 100 characters. I feel with an RNG based character unlock system, as well as the genius player market, it could cause problems when looking for a specific player, which could overinflate some cards and make others have no real value. We're already experiencing a market crisis as well, which I was wondering if you have any plans to combat this. Oh boy, not only the developers, they have to be economists too, huh? Answer, great suggestion. We will seriously consider the backpack limit for the same player to provide a healthier player trading market. I didn't know you can have too many cards. Yeah, I think eventually there'll be a point when that does happen. That'll be interesting to see how all these prices with cards trading hands and all that, how does that affect all the prices and the values? Maybe someone smarter than me can figure that out. I do notice that a lot of cards are on the lower price, they're actually going lower in price. None of them are kind of like rising up for whatever reason. We'll see how they handle it. It seems like the lower cards seem to go lower and the higher cards seem to go higher, and the middle just seems to be just chilling. Question, what sanctions are done to reported players? Oh boy, it's a long one. You can pause it to read it, but basically they do have penalties and the penalties escalate. It all goes back to the honor system, the ABC levels of each account. Depends if they do it repeatedly and how often. Depends if they do it repeatedly and how often. The only major consequence I've seen is that they don't get the match priority, so their queue times are longer, and they don't get the extra bonus of golden XP being outside the A grade. And they plan on adding new penalties. Device ban? I'm just kidding. Can we update the rosters please so players are in the correct jerseys? Example, Dinwiddie. They do take notice of the trades and it takes time for them to update the game. Easier to upgrade characters for players who spend a lot of money on the game. Answer, pending discussion. We need to consider how to address the issue of paid enhancements in the US appropriately. Essentially, all content in our game can be acquired for free. Spending money within the game merely helps players obtain new content and experiences more quickly. We encourage everyone to spend their money within their means and consume rationally. All content in our game can be acquired for free. Is that true? How can you get the outfits for free? Am I clicking on the wrong buttons? Am I going to the wrong store or what? I don't know. If you bought any of the outfits or the effects for free, let me know, because I want that. Next question. I remember Triple Threat from the beta. Any chance you add them in the future update? Also Unranked Dynasty. Answer, we feel that this gameplay still needs some more refinement and optimization. We hope to open it up to players after it has been polished. I wasn't there for the beta, and I googled what Triple Threat meant, and somehow you play 3v3 single player and you can bring your best cards into the game. I hope that comes through though. Do you plan to reset teams after every year or just continue to add players? Answer, we will not reset the team and we'll add new players continuously. I thought about what happens when, will it get boring? I don't think so. And they'll not reset the team. So I think that means they won't reset the rank of the card. Because usually in other mobile games with their rank system, after a season or something, they'll bring all the accounts ranks down. I think the rank of the card will not go down, but correct me if I'm wrong though. What will be reset though? Next question, do coaches work in 3v3 or only Dynasty? Works in both. Question, do you have any plans in the future to add gem rewards from number 1 through 3 in leaderboards? Answer, we're considering offering additional rewards to high ranking players, which may not be limited to in-game currency. So for the last section, I'm just going to list out all the stuff that they said that they're going to consider or maybe bring in the future. Probably not, so don't get your hopes up. There was just a lot of questions that they said they'll just consider it, and they didn't provide any more information on. They're going to consider something like super cards, more background history on each character in their bio, cross-server gameplay. Let's be real, that's not going to happen. MVP pass level increases, preferred position in matchmaking, more club features, improving layup mechanics, better rewards for Legends and Hall of Fame ranks, higher ranks than Hall of Fame, event game modes, new gameplay mechanics, rewards for the top 10, 50, and 100s, showing the exact percentages, not just less than 1% in the pools, and finally they'll consider single player 3v3 mode. So that's it for the list. I know I learned a lot and I hope you learned a lot too. And if you're new and want more NBA Infinite content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like button, and I'll see you in the next video shown here.